Alright, y'all. I'm waiting on Ivory to come back. Alright, y'all. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Hey, y'all. Ivory, cut it out.
I like this filter. I like the lips.
I cannot take you serious.
Why? Look at the eyebrow.
You are so unserious. Like, you are so unserious. Like, so unserious. What? Y'all, don't take... We can't take you serious with these court docs.
All right, let's get it off. I'm coming back to that one, though. How do I get it off?
Go to enhance, I think.
All right.
I was going to be like, Ivory, we don't have time for this.
I know. I need a whole tutorial. All right.
Okay, she's staying on live because she doesn't want us to expose her. You know she's on live.
Is she still?
Yeah, because she doesn't want us to.
Well, good. While she's over there on live, she can answer our questions for her live. Like, how did he do it in 3 minutes by himself? My lip.
Oh, goodness.
You don't have to throw me.
Okay, let me throw some of this trash out.
She's watching her on... Wait. She's watching her. Yeah, she's wild. Does she have me blocked? I think I blocked her.
You said you blocked her. That's funny.
I blocked her the second I started talking about her.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Never tried to contact her. Never left her a comment. Never gave her a view.
Me neither. I never left her a comment.
Nope. Maybe she'll answer some on live. How about we'll ask them and then you guys can go over there and be like, Ivory and Nina said they want to know. And let's see if she has the balls to answer. Oh, wait. I'm being a bully again. Oh, no. How dare I?
Gypsy said you were bullies for telling the truth.
Right? We're bullies. Yet, she's got a body count. So there's that.
That's her kid.
Oh, that's her baby?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was like... That remind you of Dee Dee screaming? Not triggering?
Unhinged AF.
I think the takeaway from this episode is that, regardless...
You want me to bring the phone over here?
Yeah, I want to hear what she has to say, that big mouth. I'm a victim again. Why does my phone look so blurry?
to insert yourself into someone's life. But basically what I'm trying to say is, that woman... Yeah,
Like, you could see that she's lying.
Don't come to someone's house. That a home is supposed to be someone's safe haven. Somewhere where they could go.
Yeah, like your mom when you murdered her at her house.
Right. Right in her bed, man.
That's where they feel safe and they can just decompress. It sucks that my home address is out there for everybody. And it was a public street, unfortunately,
but your friend doxes people all the time.
That you should just have common sense to respect.
And you
that
tell her to dox people.
That's the two cents that I feel like people should understand.
She got a lot of audacity.
Family. Whatever happened in the past, I am growing from it. I have a family, I have a daughter, and that is my priority.
Why did she never include her daughter in the family?
That was the takeaway for y'all too.
And we are concerned that you have a daughter. Well, we all know how that fantasy
Who
was.
knows what my sister might be with me, or my dad, or me.
Somebody will be with you because you can't watch your kid by yourself.
So hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Good, she just got off.
Oh, because she heard we were going to start asking the tough questions, like, how many times did you stab your mother? I feel like my screen is really blurry. What's happening here?
It's not.
Okay.
Well, that was nuts.
She's wild. She's unbelievable, man. She plays I can't with her victim. Constant victim. I'm so sick of the victim. Like, you don't, and it's so boring. That was so boring. Absolutely boring. She showed her baby's face multiple times. No, she's not, because she said she wasn't going to do that, remember? So, just saying. Thank you, Coastal. That's wild. You got to pick? I want to see.
No, I'm going to put the live stream up on my TikTok, so.
No,
YT.
I called her Demona 100 times in there. Did she answer? Oh, thank you.
Not you called her Demona 100 times.
That's so funny.
They are funny. I love them. They're so unhinged.
I know.
Now,
they are so unhinged.
Okay, so the tea is hot. Real hot.
I am going to upload this. So I'm going to add one of my videos before her video to her live stream. But they can't copyright it.
Yeah.
I sped it up too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're going to hit you. So.
This is... Okay, so we got a lot of tea to talk about tonight.
Yes.
So the FOIAs came out. I had some additional FOIAs that I sent to Ivory. And when we were looking through those,
yes, we
were like
coming out.
Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm starting to realize everything Gypsy says someone else did, it's really her. Okay? And so I want y'all to look at everything in those lenses. I also want to mention, I was speaking to Indigo, which is the body language expert. And she mentioned something to me while we were speaking. And what she mentioned to me was, She asked, has anyone looked into the actual names of her screen names on Facebook before the unaliving? And I said, I looked at some of the pages, but not really the names. What do you mean? And she said, she's into, IN cest,
Yeah.
right? She said, don't you think it's odd that she had a screen name, Emma Rose, that she was speaking to Nick about the IC cest?
hmm Do we have that?
I do have a screenshot that she sent me. Um,
Oh,
sorry. Okay, let me show you. Let me show it to you. Oh, damn, I thought she sent me the picture.
that
I don't
baby's
have the
getting bigger than
picture.
her head. Sorry.
I'm finna block you.
Well, it's true.
But that is interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
As far as that,
Yeah.
I mean, is it really that wild of a thought to believe?
No.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, look at everything. It just falls in line with everything else.
Right. Then that's
The behaviors,
not upstairs
you know what I mean? Like,
or in my room. But put that back. In a little bit, but go inside. You could keep the light on. She's scared to sleep by herself. I don't know what's wrong right now.
aw. How old is she?
10. She'll be 11 in August. I mean, July.
I think we all go through that at some age.
Like, she literally brought the pillow here and the comforter, like sitting next to my office. I'm like, you can go into my room and turn the light on.
Aw.
Like the whole pillow and her comforter right here on the hard floor. So I'm like, wait. But she's been doing that the last couple of nights. And then her brother comes down and I wake up and they're both right next to me.
Aw.
So I'm like, okay. So I don't know what to think of this.
I don't know. I feel like it's not far off to think that it's a thing. I feel, do we know that that was her Facebook page?
Yeah, there was the Emma Rose. I'm positive about that.
Yeah.
I have a screenshot somewhere of it. I would have to look through. But I know for a fact like, I'm not unsure, I'm positive.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is I'm surprised that she has not found a way to access that.
Page?
Yeah.
I wonder
Because,
why.
but
But it's
how could
hard. Once you
he
lose all
probably
the
doesn't
information,
have anything like that email, nothing.
yeah, it would be really hard for her to do that.
That would be the only reason why I would think that she doesn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't have any of that information anymore, and you know it's so hard to recover. Yeah, yeah, I see the baby, guys. Thank you. I did. Yes, Nomi, thank you. But they keep sending me pictures of the baby.
She just wants attention.
Yeah. It's wild. How many were there? There was like 7 or 8 of them, right? And that was the one Dan was in contact with, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the one she messaged Dan on.
Mm-hmm. Snow Rose, I think that was Disney.
Yes.
Snow White.
Rose. There was, what was the other one?
I think she had one that was with her mom and her. There was a joint account.
Yeah. Jack had another one she was on. There's a couple of them.
Yeah, there is.
There's like 3 of them still up. Or at least that I found.
And I'm kind of surprised that they haven't taken it down. And I guess she couldn't submit her ID because that's not her name.
Probably because she had that big 3-ring binder and didn't know which birthday she put down for that one. Like, which one did I use?
But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I feel as though... Okay, so I've always said everything she says is the opposite.
Right.
Remember, she always says, I wasn't the one who did the kill. So I don't identify as a murderer.
Right.
I truly believe because she says that so often, she actually did it. Because every single thing that she projects onto someone else, somehow it always turns out to be her.
I am going to green screen that page, but okay, walk me through this. How do I green screen again?
Go to Enhance. You should see background.
Not my kid taking selfies on my phone.
About to green screen your kid.
About 1,000 of them. Oh, come on. She didn't. She did. All right, hold on. Let me see. Here it is. Can you guys see this?
Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I want to play something for you real quick. Hold on. I want to
So
play
if you guys want to follow along with this message, go to, I think it was one of my last 2 videos, and there's a picture of it.
Hold on.
Screenshot it.
I want you to just hear this real quick.
She's only mentioned one of those times in the media.
And I saw her gun on the table. She normally kept the gun in the safe in her bedroom, but she had used it to practice shooting earlier that week. And that's when I grabbed the gun and I threatened her with it. And before I knew it, I pulled the trigger as many times as I could. I shot my mother. I just remember thinking, like, oh my God, did I just do that? What did I just do? A couple of them hit her, a couple of them hit the wall, but the wounds were superficial. They barely grazed her.
Wait,
That's
I'm
when
not
I
asking you what
realized it
you
was a
heard,
BB
Bree,
gun.
or whatever your name is.
And it made me
Who
feel
asked you?
relieved because I did not intend to kill her. But the point is I was shocked that I pulled the trigger at all.
I want you to pay very close attention to what he says.
The other, apparently Like she almost got close to killing her mother, but however, she couldn't do it. She was attempting to do it mainly for someone that she had an infatuation with.
That was what I wanted you to hear.
Hold on. Did he just say that she was going to do it for someone
Mainly for someone she had an infatuation with. That is what I wanted you to
hear. The first
hear.
time she tried to unalive Dee Dee, it was for Dan. Is she still on live? Where's your answers there,
No,
Jip?
she got off.
Wow. That's wild. So the first time she picked up that pew-pew and that knife, because she said she had both, and she backed her mother into a corner, that was because of Dan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Case. I'm so sorry.
That's wild. Now, guys, I wanted to go through this message.
I really want you to keep this in mind. Because, and you want to hear what's so funny? Yesterday, last year, that was the, like, wait.
That's wild.
A year ago today, I posted that clip because that was the first time I heard it.
All right, so, well, now we know that she is infatuated with Dan, and we know that that's the reason why Dee Dee ended up dead. Nick was just a collateral damage.
Cool. He was just a tool. That's all. He was just a tool. That's all he was.
He was just a weapon in her murder. But I want you guys to go back. It's the second to last video I just did. Guys, just screenshot it so you can read along. But this is what NPG posted, okay? And it says that everyone has seen Nick's last text message to Gypsy, right? Was the day when he arrived at that house that night that Dee Dee was unalived. He ended up texting her at 2:07 in the morning on June 10th, saying that he was there. He said, I'm here, and you get your butt to the bathroom, you open the door, right? That was at 2:07 a.m. on June 10th, early morning, June 10th, 2015. So what they're saying is, did you know that his mom called first and then sent him a text at 2:13 a.m.? 2:13 on June 10th, 2:13 a.m., Stephanie messaged Nick and said, call me tomorrow, love you. At 2:14 a.m. on that same Wednesday, Nick texted his mother back 1 minute later. Nick texted his mom back and said, I'm here. Okay, Mom. At 2:15 a.m., yet another minute later, Stephanie texted him back and said, just be safe. Remember street smarts. 1 minute after that, at 2:16 a.m., Nicholas responded to his mother and said, yes, Mom. Now, it says, because he didn't answer her call and she wanted to know if he was okay, she had a feeling in her gut something was off. Tell me that's not mother's intuition, right? But it says here, FYI.
She had a feeling because she wanted to stop him from getting into that taxi, but he had already made up his mind. And she said she had a bad feeling then, and I think that's why she kept checking, because it didn't sit right with her.
Yes. So it says, FYI, when answering her text is the moment he noticed his finger was bleeding, prompting him to go into the kitchen to look for a Band-Aid since she didn't open the door after knocking. So, tell me how, okay, he got to the house at 2:07, right? It's going to take her a minute to get to the door to answer, right? Because she has to get the text message and then come to the door. So now count with me. 2:08, right? He gets in there. They say hello. Remember, she was undressed, okay? She hands him the gloves. She shows him where the room is. She goes into the bathroom. He goes walking down the hallway. Remember, he said he stopped for a moment just to, ponder about whether or not he was really going to do it, right? So now you're talking about, now at this point, it's probably 2:09, right? 2:09, 2:10. Fair to say?
Right.
He goes into the room and he jabs her 17 times. They wrestled because he had a scratch on his back and he said they had a scuffle. So she did fight back a little bit. He hopped on top of her, which is no easy feat, so that took a second. Got up there, started jabbing her. They were scuffling for a second. Jabbed her 17 times. Now, I know everyone's like, oh,
Did he want to know a little
that
shit?
was 17, okay? But let me tell you something. Anybody ever put a knife into a roast butt? A pork roast? Let me tell you something. He had to go deep. It was wedged in there, and he had to pull out really hard. It is not easy to go down deep, especially in order to hurt her because she's a bigger person, so it has to bypass the fat, the muscle, the tissue. It has to go down deep, right? So he had to literally put effort into it. He mentioned a couple of times that it got stuck. So it wasn't like it was just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 times. And then he had to do that thing with her neck. And there were 2 incised marks on her neck. There was the big one along the back, and then there was one off to the side, right? So he did all of that. Now, okay, he got into the room at what, 2:09, 2:10?
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me that he did the jabbings in 2 minutes, got off the bed, realized he cut his finger, went over to the bathroom, knocked on the door, she didn't answer, went into the kitchen to find a Band-Aid, that's why there was blood all over the kitchen, and texted his mother back at 2:14 after she texted at 2:13. How was that enough time?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There's no way.
Mm-mm.
Then there's no way. And honestly, I would think there might be a way, but he said that there was a scuffle. So that was not controlled jabbings either. It's not like, oh, 1, 2, 3. I mean, they're bucking around like some beasts, man. Like she was a big mama. He had a knife in his hand to the point where it was so uncontrolled that he cut his finger. It was wet. It was slimy. It was, you know what I mean? You mean to tell me with her bucking like that?
The person in the raincoat, that's what I was thinking, which I think is David Blanchard.
Now,
Because
what-
David Blanchard is the only interrogation that they will not release. Why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why is David Blanchard the only interrogation that they will not release? Furthermore, remember when that person asked, did David Blanchard help you put your mom in your wheelchair to get her to the room? And that look on her face. I don't believe Nick did it. There's no way he could have did that within 3 to 4 minutes.
See, I believe he did it. I don't believe he did it all. It really makes me think, number one, was somebody else there. Now, you got to remember, he said that he wanted to have the duct tape and the ball gag because he wanted to muffle her, right? She was never muffled. So that means A lot of those wounds were
It's
superficial.
not, someone's saying the raincoat is not in the FOIA, but he said it in the interrogation, so it doesn't need to be in the FOIA. He literally said it in the interrogation. And
So
they're
my-
not going to put it in the FOIA considering they were trying to leave a third person out. They know it wasn't just Nick. There's no way Nick did 17 of those on his own by himself. And again, I want to say this. Every time Gypsy says she didn't do something, she did. Every time. Every time she says it's this, if she says it's right, if she gives you directions and tells you when you go up to the street, make a right, make a left, because I bet you'll get there. Every single time.
Yep. I think that
Right.
one,
And Nick is left-handed. Those jabs were done with somebody by a right hand. And that is something that I think is very imperative to speak on. I personally think maybe Nick did one or two jabs.
I think he did some of them. If I'm going to be honest, he took a lot of responsibility and he took accountability for what he did and said he did wrong. I believe he did. Because you can't say he doesn't lie, but he's lying about that.
No, I
You know
think
what I mean?
he did some, right?
Right.
But
I
I
don't
think
think he
she
did all.
coerced him into believing he was the one who did it all. And then I
Yeah.
think he was unsure, which is why he was like, maybe I blacked out. Because you got to think, how
Yeah.
many people could say they committed an unaliving,
Right.
right? In a moment like that, so much adrenaline, so much nervousness, so much, like, you're going to feel like maybe I did black out.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think because it says he went into the kitchen to look for a Band-Aid because his finger was bleeding and he was texting his mother, right? I believe that happened because you remember all the blood marks in the kitchen? And we were all like, why is there so much blood in the kitchen? Now, I believe, remember I told you, there's no way. Let's be real. I
Right.
think that when he was in that kitchen, she went in and finished her off.
I can
And
see
I
that.
believe she was never muffled. They wanted to muffle her. They knew she should have been muffled, but she was never muffled. And let's be real. When it's life or death, you're screaming bloody murder. Literally. Quite literally. You think that David Blanchard didn't hear and maybe come over? He had a key to the house. We know he had a key to the house.
I think he was there before then. I think he was there before
He
then.
could have been, because what were they scrubbing off that hallway? And I don't want to hear blood because he had it all over the house.
I have a feeling he was there before.
Was it boot prints? Was it shoe prints? Was it some kind of evidence that somebody
No,
else...
because remember, she was taking really long to respond to Nick to where he was concerned when he was on his way.
Yeah.
Why was she taking so long? And then she said she was shaving her body parts for him, remember?
Yeah. I agree. If you I don't remember who was the one who gave the interview and talked about it, but they said the mail wasn't picked up in 3 days. Okay, the mail wasn't picked up like it normally was every day. Nobody saw either one of them outside for the few days before. Now, I do know she was at the hospital, but after that, she was never seen again. Nobody saw her outside like she normally was every morning with Dee Dee, not even on the 9th. Nobody saw her. So do I believe that Gypsy was in that house beating the hell out of her mother? Yeah, I really do. The knuckles, like why did she have bruised knuckles? And let me tell you something, that was 5 days after, possibly 6, depending on what day she beat the hell out of somebody. They were turning green. You know how swollen and bruised those knuckles had to be to still be bruised and green 5 days later? And the police did not wrestle her to the ground. She walked out freely with her hands up and they put her in the car. They did not scuffle with her. So why were her knuckles all bruised?
And they took pictures of it. They did take pictures of it.
Yep. And then you remember in the documents we read, Dan Glidewell was going to testify that she tried to reach out to him. She wanted to meet him for coffee. He wasn't sure she was contacting him. He wasn't sure if she wanted to have relations, if she really wanted to say goodbye, but he was reaching out to her after Dee Dee was already dead.
Well, she reached out to him after Dee Dee was dead.
Right,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. And he was going to testify to that, right? And then everyone's like, yeah, but it was like 3 days prior when she told Nick that she was going to meet somebody for coffee. Yeah, but even after that, she was still messaging him. And if you look at the interrogation where she tells the cop, and I just put that video up, where she tells the cop, yeah, I do have a cell phone, but you see, I just use it for Yahoo Messenger. And there was a friend who was messaging me and wanted to know if I was okay. And, about the whole Facebook thing. I think she was messaging Dan because that's why she only bought one ticket, guys. Everyone's like, that bus was filled up. They couldn't get a bus ticket. Then why would you only buy one? Why wouldn't you wait till the next day and buy two for the next day?
Yep.
Why would you only buy one if you planned on leaving as a pair? No way. Was never going to happen. She never had any intention of going back with Nick. She had every intention of making Nick go back. I'll meet you there. And then go meet up with Dan, and thought she was going to take off with Dan because, again, she was infatuated and obsessed with Dan. She wanted Dan. Dan was the Ken. I need him. I need him. I need him. And so I believe that that's what happened, except...
Hold on. I'm here. I'm just going to take this to my room.
Just like Dan testified, he did not meet her. He chose not to meet her. And I think that she kept trying to communicate with him even after the unaliving, while they were at the hotel trying to get in touch with Dan. Except Dan never bit at it. And she had no choice but to leave with Nick and go back to Wisconsin. And that's when she did the Facebook. Yeah, I really believe that. I really believe that that's what happened. Oh, the bus was full, so we had to wait till the next day to get enough. Why would you get one ticket? Why didn't you just wait till the next day and buy two? Right? If there was only one spot left on the bus, why would you buy the only spot left on the bus when two people have to go? Make that make sense. Because she had never had any intentions on leaving with Nick. She was hoping to catch Dan, but Dan was not biting. Dan admitted, he said he was going to testify, he wasn't biting. And so I really believe that's what happened. She said, hold on, she said that Nick purchased the tickets ahead of time, but only purchased one. Really? I honestly don't believe that. She was doing all of the purchasing for him. She was. That's why she didn't take all the money from the safe. Because I think that she was going to give Nick some money and then go hit the rest of it and leave with Dan. I really believe that. She was going to go back there, pick up the money, and leave with Dan. And again, if you remember, she didn't want to give him gloves initially. She told him, you don't need gloves. Well, just toss the knife in the lake. Because we know that she was trying to frame Nick from the get-go, right? But then she ended up giving him gloves. I believe that when and again, she made sure everything was done in Nick's name, like the mailing. You think Nick thought about mailing the murder weapon and the gloves to his house? That wasn't Nick, that was her. But she made sure everything pointed back to Nick. The bus ticket, the gloves and the mailing thing, sending it back there. She did that. And I really believe that she might not have, sent it back there, that she might have taken that and set him up and left it in the house and then took off with Dan. I think she was definitely going to go back to that house. She was definitely going to set him up, leave the gloves there, leave the knife there. There was blood all over the house. The one thing that I think she cleaned up from that hallway was something to show that somebody else might have been there. Again, that's just my opinion.
I believe that.
Gypsy has said multiple times that she passed on the night. It's not right. If she's saying that Nick did it, how can she say the night? Nick didn't get to the house until the 10th. 2:07 a.m. on the 10th.
No, and then that's exactly the question.
Yep. So there's no way. I really don't think that the gloves and the knife were going to be mailed. I think that she was going to be like, all right, I'll drop it. You know what I mean? You take the one bus, I'll drop it, never drop it, go bring it back to the house. I really think that that one ticket was just for him. I'll meet you there.
Yeah, and it just so happened.
Dan wasn't biting, and she didn't have an option anymore because she didn't plan for the fact that Dan, who in her mind loves her, even though he didn't. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
then she's
because
obsessed.
Dan said, like, the fact that he said he didn't know if she wanted to smash, like, if a man deny you to smash,
Yep.
men normally don't deny to smash. Like, they don't care if you look like a rat. They be like, I'm down for the crown. Like, but the fact that he denied that, and he was like, well, I wasn't sure if she wanted that, so I denied it.
Yeah, that's wild to me. And the fact that he said that they were texting and communicating after Dee Dee was dead.
Mm-hmm.
How long were they in before they left for Wisconsin? 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 days, right? 2 or 3 days? 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Dee Dee passed on the 10th. Well, it depends. If you believe that Nick did it and had something to do with it, then she had to have passed on the 10th. If she passed on the 9th, then Nick had
But didn't somebody say that she was saying?
Well,
Oh, hold on. Girl, I ordered these things earlier, and I just left them in here. You know those breadsticks with the cheese?
Oh,
from
yes.
Like those cheese things? I ordered it and then had like 2 of them and got on live. Because we pulled in like 10 minutes before. I was in the car. I was like, hurry up, guys, get out the car. No, but that's true. But I just feel like there's too much that I think he may have done a few.
I believe he did.
But I don't think, and I think him doing the few was the way for her to convince him that he did it. I'm going to be honest with you. I think she was gone already or close to gone.
You know, something happened in that house the 24 to 48 hours previous. And there's a reason why has nobody addressed those freaking knuckles?
Because they've already been convinced that they're not going to. Like, listen, I know this is going to sound unrealistic, but I personally am convinced that they are 100% aware that she did it.
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely, I agree. And you know what else is funny? Now listen, I got this. You can't even see my pencil, but I got this right here from NPG. All right. I'm not the biggest fan of NPG because of the lack of transparency. You know what I mean? That irks my nerve. It just makes me uncomfortable. And so I can't back NPG because, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know who they are.
Well, I mean, it's hard because you don't know who they are. It's none of it's adding up. And I know this is going to sound really bad for me to say this, but I feel like every time the situation's kind of like picking up some momentum, they're coming up and saying, like, donate to the Spot Me. But really, they haven't been clear and transparent in where the Spot Me would be going to. With all of these creators that want to see justice served, with all of the creators that want to see justice served, I feel like why wouldn't you show some sort of transparency? Because we have a duty to our followers and subscribers to be responsible with where we would be asking money from,
Yep.
right?
I
And
agree.
especially if we're asking our followers to spend money. And let's face it, the economy is a tough economy right now. So when someone gives, it's something that they're really taking from, right? And if we're going to ask that, we should be responsible enough to, because when I asked, I was bashed. Like they literally went on a bashing spree for me, saying that, oh, Nina's only into this for money, blah, 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 blah. And the reality is, if I'm going to tell my subscribers to donate, I have to know that it's going to a cause, because right now, what is the money being put towards?
Right. That I do not know. However, if you look at their page, they have a lot of incriminating evidence against Gypsy, though. I will give them that. And so, yeah, if you guys haven't checked out, have you guys seen their page lately? You know, Jackie, I can't speak on whether or not people are legit or not. And I, without any facts, I can't tell you. You know, proceed with caution there.
I
You
don't
have
think
to
it's
know
his
your
legal
own
team. His
mind.
legal team wouldn't be doing a YouTube page. That's not how legal teams operate. Like, just so you know.
Do I believe it's somebody who knows Nick? Yeah, I do. I do.
And I don't know. Look, I'm not saying they're not legit. I'm saying from what I see, I don't trust it. But I've always been skeptical since last year. So, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt. Like,
But either way, it's MPG Cornerstone. Either way, the information that they have on there is wild. I was looking at their page, obviously, because that's where I got this from, and I was really blown away because I was sitting there looking, and they put up portions of, have you guys seen, they put up portions of the Gypsy's deposition. And she said some incriminating stuff in there that I thought was really interesting. I want to go through it. Hold on, I gotta find the page now. Did you want to go through the deposition, Nina?
yeah.
All right.
I also think we should talk about the conflict that she did with Nick.
Which one?
With Nick. Hold on. Girl, I heard some noise in the living room. And why is it Geo? I'm telling you, he's trolling. It's 9:53. He's trolling.
Oh, geez. Is it that time already?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, go to sleep.
But I just think it's really crazy when you look at the deposition and you read it, the questions she was asked, and I don't know. I mean, you never know if she's lying or telling the truth from 1 minute to the next.
I think the stuff that she said prior to the unaliving, I'm more inclined to believe than after.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion.
Right. I'm trying to see if... Not Ivory closing at her thing. I can't get... So I can't get to MPG. MPG blocked me.
On TikTok?
Mm-hmm.
They blocked me too, a long time ago.
Yeah, they did a long time ago.
That's why I said there's so many reasons why I don't trust them. Like, there's so many reasons.
Yeah, if you go here... Stop it, chaos coordinator. But if you go back to the page, it really is interesting to see I'm going to see if I can get it on a backup page.
I don't think that he'll get a retrial unless he gets in the United States Supreme Court. I think at this point, the thing that we need to look at is for some sort of maybe resentencing, maybe because I don't think he should be out here free. I do think he needs to be like in a group home if he was even freed. Like he needs someone to supervise him. He's not, and his mom was very clear with that. His mom said that he should never be out on his own because he's not capable of taking care of himself. Like I don't know if you guys heard when his mom said that. She said it in court, but she also said it in her her interrogation. So I don't think that he should be completely scot-free because he's not capable of taking care of himself on his own.
Right.
But I do think that there should be some sort of fairness, and I don't feel like there, and I honestly don't know what the answer is, which is why I feel like if the courts came up to whatever decision or someone came up to the decision, I personally don't feel like I am equipped to make a decision on where or what should happen. I just know he didn't get a fair trial, and there was too many people behind this situation working against him. So that's where I stand with that, but I can't say exactly what I think should happen.
I was trying to get into my backup page on here and I can't. I don't remember the login.
The fact that you'd come into somebody's live stream and say, get over it. Like this girl unalived her mom and you're saying, get over it. You're just as bad as she is. You're diabolical.
Hold on, I'm going to pull it up now. No, it won't let me.
She used a man with autism, a low IQ that was collecting permanent disability, and you're saying, get over it. I hope everything she did to him on you tenfolds. And please tell everyone that's defending you then, oh, just get over it.
All right, guys, I got it. I got up here. I don't know if I just created. I don't know what happened. Here we go, but I want to read these.
That was probably Gypsy. And she's going to be like, not tenfolds. I'm already getting folds now.
All right, where is it? So it says,
they will not release David Blanchard's interrogation. That's the only interrogation that they are not willing to release. And I think, girl, I think the questions just answer themselves at this point.
yeah. Hold on, I'm looking for hers because these are the attorneys were questioned. Here we go. All right. At his trial. Here are some of the answers from her deposition, okay? You guys ready for this? For example, in your case, when you would send a video, where would your mother be? The video you'd create for Nick. Her answer. I would try to do it whenever she was not around. So either she would be asleep, I'd be in the other room and make the videos, or I'd wait until she left to go to the grocery store, or sometime I could be alone by myself to do them. Hundreds of videos.
David Blanchard is the next door neighbor. Allegedly, there's no family affiliation, but that's alleged.
The attorney, your mother wouldn't have let you do that? Gypsy, no, sir. Attorney, would you say that Nick is is, at least in your opinion, easily manipulated? Gypsy's response, I believe now he's easily influenced. Attorney, who did you think was in charge of the relationship, you or Nick? Gypsy, Nick. Attorney, and who made most of the decisions in the relationship? Gypsy responded, Nick. Attorney, and who made the decision to unalive your mother? Gypsy responded, me. Hold on, there's more. Attorney, so the bottom line, I'm trying to read this, it's so small. Bear with me, guys. The bottom line is the interview in Wisconsin, you never did tell the truth. Gypsy Rose, I did not know. Attorney, you lied. Would that be fair? Gypsy answered, I lied. Attorney, now you have also given a number of television interviews. Is that correct? Gypsy said, yes, sir. Attorney, did you tell Dr. Phil the truth? Gypsy said, yes, sir, to some extent. Attorney, and to what extent did you not tell Dr. Phil the truth? Gypsy said, my feelings about the night that my mother was unalived, the relations that was between the both of us after the unaliving happened. Attorney, so you lied about that? She said, yes. Attorney, did you tell him it was a grape, I believe? She said, yes. Attorney, that he graped you when, in fact, he hadn't graped you. Gypsy said, it was a grape fantasy. Attorney, it was a grape fantasy, but not an actual grape, correct? Gypsy said, correct. Attorney, and then you were interviewed by HBO, I believe it was. Gypsy said, yes, sir. Attorney, do you remember that? Gypsy said, barely, it's been 3 years. Attorney said, I know, and I apologize for going back that far. The parts where you were interviewed, did you tell them the truth? Gypsy said, I believe so. I want to say so. I don't remember. I never get to see it, so I don't even remember what I said back then. If you were telling the truth, you don't have to remember what you said back then. Think about it.
But we know she not, because that girl don't never tell the truth.
So she's got to sit there and be like, I don't know what I told him. I don't know if I told the truth. Well, right there we know you didn't tell the truth, ever. Because you just didn't remember which story you told. Because, again, she changed her story.
But
there's more. Attorney, what would you say would be fair for him? Gypsy said 15 years. Attorney, so just a little more than you have? Gypsy said just a little more than me, just because he actually did the jabbings himself. Attorney, in any of these interviews, did you ever tell the truth? Gypsy said some. Attorney, I'm talking about the TV interviews. I apologize. I wasn't specific. Any of these TV interviews that you did, in fact, tell the whole truth? Gypsy said no. Attorney, so you always left stuff out? Gypsy said omitted stuff.
hold on, let me
Omitted
come get
something.
my laptop. I'll be right back.
Attorney, and obviously today you're telling me the whole truth? Gypsy said yes, sir. Attorney, why did you write that letter? Oh, okay, this is going to be hard for me to read. Attorney said, why did you write that letter? Gypsy said, I took a class here at the institution. It's called ICVC. It stands for Impact of Crime on Victims. And in it, it brings you to a new level of accountability. And I had to put aside my feelings about Nick and about whatever it was that I was resenting him for, and realize that I created a victim not only of my mother, but of him as well. And they asked you to write this letter from your victim to you and then to your victim, and it's not a pretty letter. And so I just really wanted to take accountability for my actions and what led me here. And I understand that my mother was the primary victim, but I made a victim out of Nick himself. And I just don't think it's fair for me to sit here and say that it's fair for him to go to prison for the rest of his life. Attorney, what would you say would be fair for him? Gypsy said 15 years.
That should say a lot to everybody.
That's wild.
But now she's calling him this monster, this heinous monster that is
This
diabolical.
piece of shit who manipulated her and who made her do this and Which one is it, Jip? Which one's your story? Were you telling the truth that you weren't telling the truth back then?
Yep.
Or were you lying this time? But who knows? I mean, she lies so much. It's like, I don't know. It's just wild to me. But like, if you go to their page, the evidence they have against her is, he knows something. I'm telling you guys. Nick knows something. I think Nick is waiting for every possible opportunity to just fall through. And if all of them fall through, something is going to come out, guys. Nick is going to let something out. I feel it in my gut. I feel it in my gut. That Nick, his last chance is not going to be his actual last legal chance. His last grasp at anything is going to be letting out what he knows and she fears. I really believe that. I think that's going to be his last. This is going to be my last shot. It's going to be his own shot talking. And I think that's why he makes it a big deal that if he's going to talk after everything that, you know what I mean? He's going to try everything. And when all is said and done and he's got nothing else that he could possibly try for, that's when he's going to talk. That's when he's going to tell a story. So.
You might be onto something.
Yeah. I think that's going to be his last straw. That's going to be his last hurrah. If all else fails, he's got one thing, something up his sleeve. And I really believe that's why everyone's like, you got to talk, make him talk, let him do interviews. No, the timing's not right. When I have exhausted all other means possible, my last shot, my last ace up my sleeve is going to be what I have to say. And that's why he's been so silent, in my opinion.
Do you think that he is I don't know if I think he is that
He knows a truth that he hasn't said. I think that's what it is. I think he knows a truth that he hasn't said. She knows he knows it, and that's why she wants to silence him and make him look so bad. She knows, I think in the beginning, she may have thought, oh, he still loves me, he's not going to talk. And I think over time that she realizes that that really is a threat, and if he gets out or something, you know what I mean? We can't let him talk. We got to silence him. Don't give him a voice. Don't give him any attention. You know what I mean? Knock it all down, which is why anybody who goes for Nick, those people go after really hard. Look at Toddy. Look at Becca. Look at us, Nina. You know what I mean? Like, we get it hard too. So I think that we get it that hard because they have to do everything and anything to get us to stop talking about Nick and giving him attention. They don't want anybody to know who Nick is because they need Nick to stay silent. Do I believe that she has tried to contact Nick? Absolutely, just like she still contacts Ryan. Now remember, Ken was the original Ryan. She still keeps Ryan on the back burner, right? She's still trying to keep Ken on the back burner, but she can't. And so that's why she has to go and do whatever she can do to try and get in contact with him or make him look really bad because that's all the fight she has. What can she do? She can't contact him. And I really believe, just like she keeps Ryan on the back burner while she's with Ken, she's keeping Nick on the back burner as well.
Mm-hmm.
There was some little dog down the block from my house
And
going
him
crazy.
saying that it was an infatuation.
And we know she was infatuated with him and obsessed with him. He said it like it really wasn't a relationship like she's saying. Like, we called it off, we stopped speaking, I got with somebody else, but she's still talking to me. And then all of a sudden she gets with Nick, and was Nick just the boyfriend to be like, oh, look, I got a boyfriend too, trying to make her jealous? And then I think that she realized, oh, wow, look at Nick is special. Nick is easily manipulated, easily, in Gypsy's words, he's easily influenced. And that's where the plan came. Well, if I'm going to be with Dan, well, let me make him jealous and get rid of my mother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now look, since 2019, Nicholas has declined all interviews, Nicholas has declined. So Nicholas was offered interviews. He declined them. So since 2019, Nicholas has declined all interviews, including a recent request from a major American television personality. And he will continue to do so, since he said on March 1st, 2024, that he will speak on his terms and only when he is ready. And I think that his terms and only when he is ready is when he's exhausted all other means of trying to find life, trying to get out.
Camilla is Gypsy or Ken. Talking about you both still at it. How do you not get bored after all these months? And you not bored of watching us then?
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I mean,
Pam
you're
talking
all
about got them like they're flies.
sitting there with a fly swatter, quick draw Pam over
Got
there. I just think that I don't know who. Listen, it doesn't matter to me who MPG is. Like, you know, to each his own. You're all adults. I can't tell what anybody to think or not. However, I do believe that it's somebody that Nick knows, just because the evidence they have, especially that video that they brought out, it's someone he knows. That's what I can say. And, you know what I mean? Other than that, you all have to make an informed decision all on your own. But I mean, it makes sense. You know, could they just be trying to make money along with it? Who knows?
No, they may not. The question, I don't know.
You just don't know. And does it matter? Because at the end of the day,
I have an obligation to my subscribers, my followers. That's the only reason why I haven't, just
right.
because.
And I would do the same thing. Yeah. Don't go, you know, dropping people. You guys have to make informed decisions. You know what I mean? I can't vet them. And so that's all I can say.
Yeah, me not being able to vet them is really, honestly, the main reason why I can't, in good conscience. I try to.
Do you remember when Gypsy said that she offered to testify at Nick's trial?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Didn't she? Isn't that the story that Gypsy said? Mm-hmm. I didn't have to testify. I offered. The letter that Gypsy wrote to the lawyer was, "My name is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I am writing in regards to your client, Mr. Nicholas P. GODEJOHN. I was served a subpoena to give my deposition on November 30, 2017. However, the deposition date was postponed due to the trial being moved back. It would be, I'm assuming she was saying, I would like to be of assistance to the defense in any way that I may be useful. She was subpoenaed to give a deposition anyway, and honestly, I feel like the deposition being read instead of her testifying would have been better, because her testimony, Dan Patterson set her up to lie, and then the defense kept having to call back that subpoena where she told a different truth than when she was on the stand that day. So
But
I feel
because they were
like
so hell bent on her getting off anyway. I mean, because really the reality is they had already given her the plea deal, so she had to ride out with whatever.
I feel like Dan allowing or having Gypsy, not Dan, Patterson, yeah. I feel like him allowing Gypsy to testify or asking her to testify was not for Nick, because she did nothing for Nick.
No, that was part of the plea deal.
I feel like, yeah, I really feel like that did more harm
She
than
hurt
good.
Nick, really. Her speaking at his trial. But, I mean, the odds were already against him. They was
Deposition
already...
told the truth, and Patterson sat there and had her lying. So if they would have just went by the deposition, it would have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So how could you sit there and say one thing in a deposition and then say completely another thing? Patterson's going to get her on a stand, ask her some questions, and she's blatantly going to lie. And luckily the guy remembered and was like, wait, hold on, that's not what you said in your deposition. Which one's the truth? Oh, the one in my deposition was. So then you just blatantly lied to the court. So again, I feel like Dan Patterson having Gypsy up there to testify for Nick really wasn't for Nick. It was to confuse everybody. I'm just saying. It was to hear both sides of the story instead of just the truth.
Yeah.
The deposition had the truth. Dan Patterson sat up there, threw up a lie, and now you're hearing two things from her mouth. Who's really going to remember the doubles of everything you're saying?
And honestly, that's literally been the process this whole time.
And it's pretty smart.
Because everything's been contradictory. Everything. Every interview that she's had, if you watch 2 of her interviews and play them side by side, you could at least see 8 times that she has contradicted herself every time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I believe that.
Yeah.
I do truly believe that, because I mean, look at how everything's played out. Like, look at what she says.
Mm-hmm. And she wasn't doing any favors. I mean, she was subpoenaed for the deposition.
But that deposition did not help Nick one bit.
No.
In fact, it had to be what that plea deal was, because if it wasn't, how would it be the way, you know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it.
Yeah. I mean, the line in this, it's just wild to me. Like, that I can't wait for us to get is the deposition, the full deposition. I mean, literally saying that you lied in these TV interviews. Like, hey, Dr. Phil, did you see your deposition where she said that she lied to you?
It kind of makes you wonder if he just didn't care.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ads on YouTube.
Oh, hold on. Like, that kind of makes you just wonder, like, wait, did they just literally not care?
Sorry, I was just trying to see. I was just reading some stuff here. I don't mean to go quiet on y'all.
You know, because when you think about it, everything all in, it just seems like they didn't care. Like, how could someone make it make sense as to how someone cared when I think everything about the situation just shows that nobody cared.
Yeah. That's quite.
You know what I'm saying? To me, it's impossible to say that they care. But I think Mike Stanfield speaking today, The fact that he'd be willing to speak, knowing,
Yeah.
and to say she's a victim. Like he consciously said she was a victim. Like really
Yeah.
let that sink in. Thank you for the gifts, y'all. Like he consciously said that Gypsy herself is a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Like really let that sink in.
Yeah. I don't know. Right. Evidence doesn't lie. People do. That's the truth.
And you already, I mean, here's the reality too, where everyone's like, oh, why don't you believe what Gypsy said? If you could unalive someone and steal, then you're a liar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
would,
A liar, a thief. Yeah, it's all the same thing. An unaliver.
if you're a thief, you're a liar. If you're a liar, you're a thief.
Mm-hmm.
So make it make sense.
Right.
That's why I've always thought that was odd that people are like, oh, well, she said, she, the murderer? Like, help me understand. Like, help me understand the process. I'd be more inclined to believe what she said prior to the murder.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Because anything after that is her trying to cover, right?
Yeah.
Like, what else could it be?
I don't know. I don't understand how for all these years, this chick is out here lying, saying whatever the fuck she wants, and silencing this poor guy. Well, I guess to some extent he's silencing himself, though, but the lies on this man as he's getting, trying to get out to have some kind of life. All these trolls are in here talking about, let her live her life, let her live her life, but make that make sense, because then shouldn't he get to live his? It doesn't make any sense, the argument.
That part.
That's fine.
That,
That's the whole thing. Let her live her life. Well, then shouldn't we all just let him live his life? It was so 10 years ago. Well, then if we just get over it in 10 years, he's been in there for 10 years, let him get out. Because it was so 10 years ago. I mean, people change, right?
Right.
So then he's changed. Let him out.
Right.
Oh, no.
Because that's kind of been the line.
Yeah. And what does he say about the man in the raincoat? Do you have that part to play?
No, that's in the interrogation.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. That
He says something about, I know he mentions Dan.
mentions
think it's-
Dan, but one of the key things that he mentions is the man in the raincoat, and he says specifically he would not, if there was one person he wouldn't apologize to, it would be Dan.
Dan.
And that really makes you wonder why. Right?
I mean,
Why?
it wasn't raining down there any of those days, right?
No.
So why would somebody be in a raincoat? Is there fishing done down there? Is that a fishing area? I don't know the area. Pam, you do.
Something was definitely wrong, and I think that, and that's That's honestly the whole issue, is that there's so much wrong and no one's clarified.
Yeah. Maybe it was a trench coat. Ooh, I guess it does. A raincoat does cover up a lot of splatter. I never thought of that. I wasn't thinking along those lines that that man in the raincoat went in the house. Where did he see said man in the raincoat? See, I can't. I need to know things. I can't sit here and not have answers. Why do we keep going? Because I need to go until I get answers, man. That's it. I'm just that kind of person. Absolutely improper investigation. Ain't that the truth? I don't, David Blanchard, I feel like always struck me a little odd. I don't believe Dan was there. I don't believe it. I think Dan was really concerned that they were trying to have some scam to get him arrested or something, and he took off. I really don't think he was trying to mess with her anymore.
No, I don't think he wanted anything to do with her.
Yeah.
And honestly,
However,
we really don't know what those conversations were like. And based off of what she's tried to do to Nick, I do think those conversations were probably wild.
not even that, but why did Dave Blanchard go through the window if he had a key to the house? He crawled through the tiny ass kitchen window when he had a whole key to the house.
But I really think that's why they haven't released his investigation.
But I think but they watched him go through the window. They watched David Blanchard go through the window. He went through that window. I mean, I don't know. Maybe his wife had the key. Maybe he didn't know where it was. I mean, I could see that happening to me, coming in the house trying to look for the key. My husband put it somewhere and he's not home. And you know what I mean? I just don't know where the damn thing is. But he went through the window. As far as I know, he went through that window. There were people there watching him. He did climb through the window. No, he did. They watched him climb through the window. They watched him climb through the window. He went through that window. I'm pretty sure he went through that window.
Mm-hmm.
David Blanchard's fingerprints would be somewhere in that house because, again, he had a key.
Well, I think it was. Listen, I think that they had all of that. Why would they not release his interview?
That's what. I don't know.
And then the face that she made when someone asked, did David Blanchard help her get her mother into the wheelchair to get her into the room?
Yeah.
And the look that she looked so visibly uncomfortable with that question that nobody could convince me.
I was always wondering why someone of her size, she was an asthmatic. She was just listen, if you're a big mama and you ever lay on your stomach, it's not the most comfortable.
You can't breathe on your stomach when you're fat.
Especially when you're an asthmatic, like you're sitting there, you know what I mean? Like,
that's very hard. Most people like that would sleep on their backs.
Yeah,
or
on the
side.
on the side, yeah, but not on the stomach. I haven't slept on my stomach in many, many moons. I just feel it's odd that she was on her stomach. But to carry a body of that weight, I just, even if David was there, the three of them couldn't do it. If anybody's ever worked in a rehab and has had to pick up a big person up off the floor, dead weight, I have seen 4 grown men not be able to do it, and the person's only 400 pounds because it's pure dead weight. An actual dead weight, there's no way Gypsy and Nick did that.
I
couldn't
also
lift it.
think we need to show in the foyer where she asked Nick, was he a psychopath?
Yes. Yep. That was the one you sent?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Not the one that you got from Pam.
The one you sent me, yeah.
The one I got from Morley. Because it's not in that one.
Oh, is it Pam in the? Ask Pam if she could screenshot that to me. That's on my phone. I can't get
I
into
don't
my.
think she has that. Does she have it?
Yeah, yeah, he said, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I sent it to her.
Yeah, is she? Pam, are you in here? And you know what? You know what else that really, really, really bothered me? The fact that she kept trying to insinuate that Nick was a serial killer, or that.
But I think that's to show you what her true intentions were. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's everything that she says. It's the opposite of that. So you really have to. You can't take what she's saying for face value, but you know that there's some sort of truth within it.
I'm not a Manson. I'm not a Dahmer. Like, he got truly upset at.
Because she was trying to project onto him what she wanted to be.
Right. There's
And keep in mind who Demona really is.
Yeah. In the FOIA documents that Nina has, there were those extra pages in them. There's a big blurb about where it says that he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
That she's saying. I just don't understand. I get so angry. Everyone's sitting there talking about how do you get. I get the anger, man. Because I
No,
get
you
so
have to because of how you have to.
living your life with your fucking baby, watching your fucking reality show on television with your new obsession and infatuation, okay? And that man is.
Remember what I told Raina last year. I said, don't let this be the thing that you believe until you are in a church standing over him saying your last goodbyes.
Right. Right. I don't know.
And I don't really think that it's going to have to, the sad part is it's going to have to happen for Raina to really get it. And and you know what? I know as bad as it sounds, I'm going to be like, I told you.
Yeah.
I can't have sympathy for you when I told you the writing was on the wall.
How can you not see it? Like, Raina, like Ken, like, how can you not see that you're with a fucking pathological liar? How do you not see that? How do you not see she lied so much before you really believe that you're the one person
money in the world for me to be with a pathological liar that I know unalive?
Yeah, you're the one person in the world that she's not gonna lie to. You firmly believe that? Like, you can't be that naive. You can't be that not so smart. You can't think that you're the one person in the world she's not gonna lie to. I mean, come on. What's wrong with people? It's. Yeah, I don't. But what money is she making? I mean, her show's flopping. You all just watched that tonight. That was not entertainment. That was. I don't know what that was. I mean, that was sad. That was Gypsy re-victimizing herself all over again for something new.
Oh, big facts. Big facts.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, what is she going to do when she runs out of things to be a victim of? What is she going to do? Like, it's scary. It's really scary. Oh, I'm a victim of this. I'm a victim of that. But what's going to happen when you've been a victim of everything? And you still need attention? Because, it's almost like it's history repeating itself. People do not change who they are. She was the victim in that wheelchair. Everybody who looked at that girl saw her, oh, the poor thing is sick. She's got a disease. She's dying. She loved to feel like the victim. She was a victim of sickness, right? That's the role that she played her entire life. I'm the victim of sickness. I'm dying. I got cancer. I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair. But you see, she can't play that wheelchair card and I'm sick card anymore. So she needs to be the victim and have people feel bad for her yet again. And so she will keep continuing to victimize herself, to make herself sound like a victim. And so now, instead of being in a wheelchair, the poor victim that was sick, that she loved when people looked at her like, oh, the poor girl's sick. Oh, the poor girl's sick. Now she's playing it for you all to feel bad for her. and harassment and poor Gypsy and poor Gypsy. So the internet right now is just her wheelchair. For everyone to look at her like the poor victim all over again. She doesn't change her story. She keeps
Not the
replaying the
internet is
same
her wheelchair.
story.
That is golden.
Think about that though. It is. That wheelchair gave her pity. It gave her attention. Oh, the poor thing. The poor thing. Well, she can't be in a wheelchair anymore. Now she's on the internet. The internet is her wheelchair. She's getting the attention. And look, the poor thing. She's victimized by her thing. She's victimized by the internet now. She just wants to live her life and be on the internet like the sweet little innocent girl. And look what y'all are doing to her. The internet is now her wheelchair. It is that thing that says, look at me, I'm a poor victim. Look, I'm sick. Oh, look at me. Feel bad for me. Feel bad for me. She needs to have people pity her. She needs to have people feel bad for her. Everything she does. Oh, I got pregnant and I'm married to the wrong guy. Guys, feel bad for me. It wasn't an affair. I love Ken. I didn't love Ryan when I married him. Feel bad for me. I just ended up with the wrong guy. Everything is her victim story. Everything is her wheelchair. She uses people as her wheelchair. She uses situations and scenarios. It all becomes her wheelchair. She doesn't change, guys. Just the situation, her environment changes. But her story doesn't change. She keeps replaying the same fantasy, that same storyline. It keeps going. It just evolves with her.
That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
And she's 6 months pregnant carrying our baby. Why, when she was packing, you saw no baby, and then all of a sudden the baby popped up the next day? Something just ain't adding up.
No. And her, not only is she infatuated with men, she was obsessed with the idea of a baby. Now, do I think a baby played a role in her fantasy? That she didn't get it with Nick? Remember, she's been stealing baby clothes and gathering baby clothes her entire fucking life. I mean, she was stealing them at Walmart while she was with Nick, right? You gotta wonder if she wasn't trying to get pregnant by Dan, let's be real.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she was, because she thinks a baby would keep someone. When
Right.
I would think she would learn that you can't keep someone by having a baby, by the simple fact that your mom did that to your dad, and well, look how that turned out.
Well, exactly. Like, why would you think that having a baby by a man is going to keep the man around when your own father left your fucking mother flat and never turned back around to look at you? Obviously, babies don't keep men because your father walked out. Make it make sense.
And hell, Rod still don't want to be around.
No. Oh, he's getting a second chance. No, honey, that's like his 15th chance.
And listen,
How
I
many
don't
kids did
blame
he have to
Rod.
abandon?
Look, I do not blame Rod. I wouldn't want to be around either. I'm not even, I'd rather you put deadbeat on my casket.
Oh, his second chance. Like, that's really wild to me that she said that, first of all. That spoke volumes about her daddy issues, which is why she was out home with men, looking for attention from men. Like, that's all your fault, Rod. And that's not your second chance, because let's be real, how many kids did he abandon?
Just put deadbeat on my casket. I'd rather take me to the king like that. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna hold you.
You know, that's not his child, or is it? I don't know. That was kind of a weird for you to put it. Oh, it's his second chance. Like, no, that's your daughter. He had a second chance with his second daughter. He dropped her too.
Can you
Like,
just
that's
send
not his
him?
second chance.
Do you have a screenshot of it? Because she doesn't know the page.
I don't.
And I
Let me
don't know the
check.
page.
Let me check. Hold on. I don't know that I screenshotted it, but let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Anyway, this is the intermission. Do 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 do. This is the Ricky Lake Show, y'all. Do Do, 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 do. But I don't know. Look, I'm not mad at Rod. I wouldn't, if I knew my daughter was diabolic like that, I ain't mad at him, okay? I ain't mad at you, Big Pimpin'. I ain't mad at you. I'm not. I would be on a boat too. You got Christy and Gypsy. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me.
Don't even get me started. I feel like I don't know, maybe they all are related down there. And maybe somehow Christy's related to Dee Dee because they act the same. Gypsy
Well,
and
they
Christy.
said that. I've heard people say that, but I don't know at all if that's true.
I do not have the screenshot, but we can add that into tomorrow with the rest of the FOIA that we go through if you want.
Okay. Because we do need to go over
Yeah, I
just
completely,
parts.
I was so busy I came on a little unprepared tonight. But yeah, we'll have it for you guys tomorrow. But yeah, it's just I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Christy was around, let's be real, she was around sleeping with Rod when she married Dee Dee. What was it, Jill? Wasn't that the other woman's name?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting there, her mother, Christy's mother, was talking to Rod about getting rid of Dee Dee, and I think trying to get Rod to go with her daughter, but then she doesn't, and he ends up hopping to another woman, gets her pregnant, and then finally, she was the sloppy leftover, and he just took her because he's like, well, I gotta settle down now. I've had my time, I've made my babies, I ran away from all. Yes, Jill is Nicolette's mom, yeah. You know what I mean? And like, you act like you're so proud, like, look, he picked me, but honey, he didn't. You were whatever was left over when he went through all the women, I'm just saying.
Nah, you were what
You
was
were not his first choice, you were not his second choice, you were not his third choice, I'm just saying.
I'd be so
You weren't even a choice until we ran out of options. That's when you became a choice.
Oh, I'd be disrespectful.
Whatever, it's the truth though. Am I lying? Is anything I'm saying lying?
No.
I'm not lying. No.
No.
You may not like how I put it out there, but the truth is the truth. You weren't his first option. You weren't his second. You weren't his third. So, sorry. You weren't meant to be until he realized he was out of options.
Oh, child.
You know, like, you can call me whatever you want, but
right now, getting rid of her ass.
It's just, you know, I don't know that, I think in my mind that Christy was a big reason why Rod never really, I don't think Rod cared enough to ever go and check on his kid. I think he didn't want to, I mean, because look at Nicolette. I don't think he ever cared, but I think that if he did have an inkling of care, Christy made sure he didn't because she wanted her kids to be his one and only. That was his family, and just forget about the other people. I really believe that. And that's why Christy was communicating with Dee Dee and not Rod, so she can control the whole narrative and all of it. That's what I believe.
No, that I do believe. I could definitely see that.
I don't know. They got to pass out fucking condoms in that bayou, birth control in that bayou. That's just wild. They're all sleeping with one another and fucking having kids out there and then abandoning kids and kids don't know who they're related to. And I really believe, is Christy in that fucking family somehow? Because she's just like Gypsy and them. She really is.
Ooh, child, you going in tonight.
Don't tell me he didn't know she was sick. The one time he did visit, you mean to tell me she was in a wheelchair? She had to be about 15 years old. Your daughter said it on an interview, so is Mia lying now too? Which I wouldn't put it past people. But if she really did come and stay at your house for that weekend, you didn't bathe her? You didn't know that she could move her legs? You're fucking lying. You're all fucking lying. Everyone likes the truth until the truth strikes a chord with a truth they weren't ready to hear.
Reminder.
Like, let's be real. You didn't have a perfect kid. And you walked out on him. And you walked out on Nicolette. And look, Nicolette's perfectly fine. Why'd you walk out on Nicolette? Well, that was Christy's doing. Christy controlled Rod. Let's be real. Christy wears the pants. Christy's never given those fucking pants back to Rod. We all know it. And it is what it is. So, yeah.
Now she
I
was.
just think it's wild. And now you're out here, sitting there, all of you, acting like Nick. If she really was being abused, Rod, then why are you not defending the man who saved your daughter's life? What kind of man are you? Because that's what a man does. That's what an honorable man does, right? Defends the man that saved his daughter's life. So if she really was abused, and the story that you people are putting out there is true, why are you not defending the man who saved your daughter's life?
Well, that's a good question, because that would mean that they know what's up.
Right. The fact that they're not defending him means that they know she's fucking lying. And let's be real. One, how is he not charged for abuse too? Is beyond me. Because he was absolutely, you walked out on her, never went to check. You got all these fake stories. She was dying. She wasn't going to live past 5. You never checked. You never went to a doctor's appointment. You never asked for paperwork. That's neglect. Baby, you should have been charged too. You should have been charged with child abuse. That was your child. You had an obligation as a parent to show up for your child. You didn't. You should absolutely be charged with child abuse, just like you say that Dee Dee abused her. You are just as responsible. Right?
I mean, yeah, because
But then they can't say any of this. They know she was lying. They know it's all a lie. And again, what was it, Rod? The story is whatever they're willing to pay for, right? Quote unquote. The story is whatever they're willing to pay for.
And I mean, that's the reality of it. That's the sad reality. But yeah, that's.
And I feel like when shit does come out to light, even if Gypsy cannot be charged again,
She could
because
be
she
charged
already
again
said
federally. She can. It's
right.
if
Even
they
if
do.
they don't. Even if they don't, then you know what? Rod and Christy should be charged because they knew it was all a lie.
I actually don't. Now look, I don't like Christy. Okay. So this is not in defense of her for real. But I will say, I think the stuff that came out in the FOIA, I don't think she's privy to.
What do you mean? Do you think she didn't know?
I do think she thinks Dee Dee had Munchausen. Until that FOIA came out, I do think she thought Dee Dee had Munchausen.
Yeah, I don't. I think that she helped come along with that story. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, number one, she was privy to all that information because she was sitting there reading the documents with them and sitting there meeting with Mike with them. So she was privy to all the information that they were going with the whole thing. That's number one. Number two, you got to remember.
She saw the part when she was 6 years old? Because I think
she was around that family since before Gypsy was born. They were best friends. She was around before Gypsy was born. You remember her talking about how she knew her as an infant, a newborn. Yeah, I really do believe she knew. She was in love with Rod and wanted Rod. Christy just wanted Rod, period. She was around him no matter what. They were best friends. She was friends with Dee Dee. Was she really friends with Dee Dee? Not that I believe. I think she just wanted Rod and wanted to insert herself because, well, we know she likes to do that. And yeah, I really do believe that she knew. Now, there's no way that they thought that she was really that sick and nobody checked on her. Come on. She was there the entire time. Christy's mother was there inserting herself into all of it. I think that they knew. I don't believe that she really believes it was Munchausen. Because you got to remember, they got the pictures of her acting all sexy. They got the Ruby and the Demona pictures. Like, they knew that she was up walking. The shots were of her standing. She wasn't sitting
No,
there.
I think they knew she could walk.
In a wheelchair.
I do think they knew she could walk. But I think they thought that, you might be right. But I think he thought that.
If they really believed that she was dying, you don't think, no, oh, let me call the doctor, let me just go and you just, abandon them, knowing that she's dying? Like, even if it's a stepmother, like, if I had a stepchild, absolutely, I would treat them the same way, right? Wouldn't you? Like, that's my man's child.
Yeah, but let's
sit there and be
okay,
like,
but
she's dying.
Pause though. Yes, you'd be like that with your child, right? Or your stepchild.
Right.
But as diabolic as Gypsy was?
Yeah, but if she was being told that she was dying, she's only going to live till 10, nobody would have questions? You just take people at their word?
I don't know. We're talking about Gypsy though. I don't know. I honestly cannot.
Same thing with the whole, she was lost during Hurricane Katrina. We were trying to find her. They had lists of names everywhere. She was all over the news. What do you mean you were trying to find her? Like, come on. I knew where she was. She was on my news. Up in New Jersey, she was on my news.
They was trying to find her.
Where?
Okay. They tried. Okay. Stevie Wonder trying, right? But they tried. Okay.
Yeah, she switched right over the channel. She put on channel 7 instead of channel 4. And again, if they're lost in a hurricane, your kid, do you stop looking? I don't know. That story
If
is
it's
just all.
Gypsy, I would stop. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That story is
As
all.
diabolic as she is, if it's Gypsy, I would stop. I'm just being honest, okay? That's all I'm doing is just being honest. You can't get mad at me for being honest. I'm just saying if it was Gypsy, I might stop looking, okay? I maybe would stop looking.
I think Gypsy and Christy were in communication with each other via Facebook. Christy and Dee Dee were. Maybe that's why Christy was so quick to pick up the Munchausen by proxy.
Well, so it was Mike Stanfield that came up with that first. Christy just ran with it.
But you also remember in the news around the time of their trial, there was down in Louisiana, there was that big that big case with the Munchausen by proxy. You remember that? That was big in the news down there.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, it's like, that's
the reason why I feel like she didn't all the way know. Because you noticed last week on that live, the way Christy was helicoptering over that baby, she did not trust Gypsy.
Oh, I agree.
And I think because she now is realizing how bad it really is. I think at some point she didn't really think it was that bad. And I'm telling you, I'm not a Christy fan.
No, it's possible.
But I think she's now realizing how bad Gypsy really is. And that's why she became so overprotective of that baby. I think there's a lot of things that she did not know. And and also her behavior would make things more prevalent to you. You see what I'm saying? I don't like Christy, but I feel like we should be fair, right? And
Right.
I cannot confidently say that I believe she knew.
Yeah. See,
I can't confidently say that.
yeah, I
It
can't
just
100%.
I feel like there's a lot of nuance.
I think she did though. I just
She
feel
may
like,
have. She may have.
yeah,
I'm just saying, for me, seeing how diabolic Gypsy is, I could see her manipulating Christy. I
right.
could see it, right?
Yeah.
So I personally, I'm not confident enough to say Christy knew. She knew that she intentionally unalived this woman. She knew that she did it for sausage. She knew that it wasn't what she was saying it was. I think because, and I'll say this because, remember, Gypsy lied about being, like, having feeling, right? So Dee Dee would be like, hey, like, something's wrong with my kid. Like, something's legitimately wrong with my kid. Something's
Right.
wrong with my kid. And that would come across if they're doing the muscle reflex and she's having a reflex, but she's saying, but my baby's saying she can't walk.
Right.
Right? And I feel like they're like, okay, well, maybe she was like kind of weak sometimes and maybe not other times. And I don't know if you remember that point where Bobby Godejohn, not Bobby Godejohn, Bobby Petrie said that Gypsy was jumping up and down on a
Trampoline.
and then just fell out when she seen Dee Dee.
Yeah.
So I feel like Christy
She's
could
putting on a show for
possibly
Dee
have.
Dee.
I really legitimately think. I know that sounds off,
No, I hear that.
but
It's possible.
Christy
I'll give you
may
that.
not be all the way the villain. I do think Christy was like, "Oh, let's get this bag. Okay,
Oh
if
yeah.
she's gonna
Yeah.
get out, let's
Definitely a
get this
villain
bag."
now. I think she's
But if I
definitely
had to
knows
deal
that.
with Gypsy, would I not be trying to get the bag too?
Right. I agree.
Like, if you
I feel
have
like
to deal
she
with
definitely
Gypsy,
knows
I'm
that.
gonna be one in the bag. Like,
Yeah.
if you have to live in my house, somebody gonna have to give me something to have this unaliver living in my house.
I agree with you. I agree with
So
you
I
that
can't
it's
fault her for saying let's get the bag like that. Who's just gonna be like Gypsy Rose Blanchard could just lay up in a bed that my daughter used to stay at? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need
I
a
agree
child.
that she may possibly at one point believe the Munchausen by proxy thing. I'll give you that. However, she knows now.
No, but how do you get out of it now? She knee deep. She's
But
knee deep. How do you get out of it
hence
now?
the plan. So
Listen,
that's why
she
they're
was trying to send the
of
girl back.
spiraling.
That's why she planted Brie. Okay, she did try to get the girl sent back. All right, it just didn't work out. Okay, and I feel like she's made plenty of attempts with Brie. Okay, Brie ain't did Gypsy no favors.
I
Okay,
think right now that they're spiraling right now because the truth is finally coming to light and they can't hide it anymore.
right. But I do think she originally was trying to get Gypsy to go back to the big house.
I know you keep saying that.
Okay, I will forever
Okay.
say that because Brie came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think she was a plant to get, and it just, the deal didn't work out because Missouri was like, yeah, it's a no for me, dog. We don't want her back. Like, we don't
Yeah.
care if she set your house on fire. If you're alive, she gonna stay there.
Yeah.
You know, like, I
think
really
that-
feel like Christy's not as bad. Like, now seeing this stuff, now seeing it, I just can't confidently say, because if she was that manipulative with Dee Dee, why would she not be that manipulative with Christy?
I agree. I see that.
And I think fair is fair, right? Like, I feel like I feel like it's very hard to confidently say,
You
as
can't
diabolic as
confidently-
Gypsy is, could we really confidently say Christy?
wasn't also manipulated just like she did to
Because
Dee Dee.
I think if Christy knew she was that bad, Christy wouldn't let her live in her house.
I don't think Christy ever wanted her to come to the house. to be
No, but
honest
if
with
she
you.
knew she was that bad, would
No, she wouldn't.
okay then. You see, and so that makes me feel as though
So do you think doing all the documentaries and everything, do you think that's when she started opening her eyes to?
I think her actual behavior.
Yeah, well, that's obvious.
You see what I'm saying? I don't think Christy's the villain that we think she is. I just, my gut feeling tells me, especially being presented with this, if she could manipulate Dee Dee the way she can, yes. Now, Melissa Moore, that's the villain because she said she had all the medical records. Melissa Moore would understand what she's looking at. Mike Stanfield would understand what he's looking at. Christy looking at medical records, what does that mean to her?
Yeah.
And did she really go through all of that? Probably not.
I'll give you this. She may not have known in the beginning. I do believe, however, that she's continuing a lie that she knows isn't.
Well, yeah, now she's knee deep. That's
definitely running the lie.
She's
right
knee
now.
deep. What do you do now?
Yeah.
First of all, the girl is out, so she could really unalive you.
Which, who just said that? Sarah Ramos, why else would Christy have given away all the medical records? That makes sense. Maybe in her mind she believed, and then all the documentaries came out.
Yeah, because I think that if she did not believe she had Munchausen, she would not have given out the medical records. I think now she's like, oh, hell. You see what I'm saying? I can't confidently say that I feel as though Christy knew. I can't.
I absolutely agree with you.
Up until
Although it doesn't make them any less responsible. I feel like in my mind, well, I agree with you there. It doesn't make them any less responsible for everything that went on.
No, I mean, they definitely played into it, but I don't think she's...
But as far as the Munchausen by proxy, now that you say that, it definitely was brought on by Mike Stanfield.
You see what I'm
saying?
saying?
It makes sense because there was that whole court case going on at the same time.
Yeah, I can't confidently say that I think Christy is the villain. I think she rode with it. Mm-hmm. And I think now she's knee deep and it's kind of like, well, what can I do? But the way she was helicoptering over that baby,
she doesn't trust Gypsy.
She don't trust Gypsy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She does not. And that is very clear to me. If nothing else is clear to me, that is clear to me that she does not trust.
What do you think Christy's next move is going to be?
She trying to get that girl up out that house. That's why she don't want Ken to leave. She wants that girl up out of her house, and I ain't mad at her.
No, I hear that.
I'm not mad at her. I would want her out my house too.
You think that she's waiting for her to go back to prison?
Yo, I think she been thought that girl would go back to prison. I'm not mad. If Christy did plant breed, I ain't mad at her. I would do it too.
So then what is Ken's role in this then? Like, why would she insert Ken into this whole
situation? He the babysitter.
Then?
Ken is the babysitter. If she don't go back to prison, Ken is the babysitter. Ken need to stay around to take care of Gypsy. He needs to be the conservatorship. Christy don't want nothing to do with that girl. Rod don't want nothing to do with her.
But I feel like that wouldn't be a good reason to plant Ken in there.
Ken
is the reason. Ryan.
Well, Ryan wouldn't let Christy control the money. Ken will. Because Ken don't have shit.
And Ken's not really a manly man.
And Ken likes Christy. Ryan never liked Christy. That's the difference.
Yeah.
But I just don't think Christy is diabolical.
I think you're right with Ken being put in there because Ryan would have controlled the money. I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. That's why she was like, she reeled him back in. She was like, hey.
Yeah.
In her mind, she like, I need control over some of the money. And I need a babysitter. Oh, Ken, he sounds really perfect for that. All right, well, let me text him. Hey, Ken, what you doing? Gypsy says she missed you. Do you miss her too? Oh, yeah, she just told me how much she's in love with you. and she wished she never married Ryan. Now that wasn't said until after.
I told you that was one
That's
cell
why
phone.
Christy said, I'm willing to say I'm the homewrecker.
That
Christy
is
said,
one
look,
cell phone I would love to get a hold of.
listen, but I wouldn't be mad at her, okay? Look, I would not be mad at her. I know that sounds devious, but I wouldn't be mad at her.
So they're all being really selfish. It really has
If Gypsy
nothing
would
to
have
do with
stayed with Ryan,
bad for the girl.
how do you think that would have turned out? Oh, that would be
Yeah, it would have closed off all the
something
money.
would have happened by now. Something
Yeah.
major would have happened by now.
Yeah, because then they'd have no control of the money. There's no more money for them. There's no
And
more
first
access.
of all, you're like, she knows now. You think she could out that girl so she could end up like this?
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. How do you, like, eventually, I feel like eventually Gypsy's going to be outed. Like, this is,
I'm
it's
telling
all,
you, but Christy's not going to be the one, so she don't end up like this. Okay?
Mama number two. Did you ever let that woman call you mom? Fuck no. I think that's wild.
I'm
But
sure Christy cringed every time Gypsy called her mama.
can they redeem themselves after all this stuff? Thank you. Can Rod and Christy redeem themselves?
Listen, if Gypsy was to get caught up in something and Christy came out and said, look, I really didn't know about like how bad this was until
Right.
like that FOIA came out or like her behavior, I honestly would not think Christy, I just don't think Christy's as bad as we think.
Thank you.
And I'm saying that with someone that I really don't like. So for me to say that, I just feel like it's fair, right? Because I feel like it would be so unfair for us to say, okay, she's horrible, she's terrible, when we've seen this information and she's lied to her
I still think
mom.
she's horrible and terrible because she lied about other things as well. However, I see what you're saying with this. Like,
yeah, but in terms of this, right?
my whole thing is if they don't step up now to redeem themselves,
But
and call,
how could they?
No, they never-
They listen. They are going to be like this. Okay? They cannot. Like, I really need you to see that.
I agree. So then they can't.
And not
redeem
only
themselves.
that, like, I want you to
They're
think.
just in
Think
it,
about
and it's
this.
never going to end.
Think about this. Ryan has been very vocal about how much he hates Christy and Ken.
Yeah, he has. I agree.
Gypsy could easily set that up. If you play with her, you get burnt.
So they're never going to be able to get out of it. They're going to have to go down
No,
with the storm.
they need the public to come out.
Well, but do you think they can redeem themselves once they're out there? And you know what I mean? I think they have no
being
choice.
that this FOIA came out, came out, and we're privy that 6-year-old is so pertinent.
Important. Yeah.
That part to me is so important.
But now, see, my whole thing is, if they don't come out and speak against her now or say something to redeem
But if they
themselves,
fooled the media, can't they say that they were fooled too? Yes, I believe that.
I agree.
This girl's that diabolical.
Now, are they? If they do, what happens? Or are they just going to go down with that shit?
Listen, let's be honest. And this is no disrespect. They are not the smartest people.
Right, I agree. Definitely not.
So with that being said, I believe Rod legit does not know. I think Christy legit didn't know. Why would Rod get on your live that night and really sit there trying to hear y'all out and fancy if he really knew that this was all a scam?
Well, I know why Ron got on my live that night.
I know, but I'm saying he wouldn't have stayed on for all that time. He wouldn't
Right.
have try to, like, he wouldn't have tried to hear everything out. Like, he wouldn't have.
I can't give him enough credit to act like he doesn't know that she was scamming.
Look, do I think that he gives a damn about her? No. But
Right.
who would?
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, you think that he doesn't know?
Listen, at this point he probably does. But the reality is, can he actually say something?
Well, that's what my question to you is. If they say something, they can't. They have to. They have no choice now, but to go down with that ship, with Gypsy ship. They have no choice now. They're so far deep into the story.
Yeah, but think about how diabolic she is. I think people would, if the media was able to be fooled, they didn't live with her. I think that they would be able to, just my personal opinion, I do think they would be able to get around it.
If she wasn't so public.
No, I think they still would, because look, they could easily say, like, look, I thought the girl, she was gonna, like, kind of end it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really want to say anything because I ain't really want to look like, I ain't want to sit there looking crazy. Like, I feel like people would be like, okay, you know what? Maybe they're telling the truth.
Well, even if they did tell the truth to the part where they didn't know, I agree. They know now, and so my whole thing is they have no choice now but to go down with the shit. They have no choice but to take it and carry on with the story.
But here's the reality. What else could they can't do nothing. Like, it's not even an option.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Listen, you're not going to, listen, are you going to really play with somebody that unalived their mama? The woman, she came out their coochie? You really going to play with her? Are you really going to play with her, Ivory? No, I'm for real. All jokes aside, are you going to play with her?
That's what I'm saying.
You're lying to me if you're telling me.
I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they can't speak up. They have to go down with her. She's going to eventually come out.
I'm gonna have to go down. At least I'm gonna be alive, okay?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So right now they have no choice but to go down. That's what I'm saying. So right now they have no choice but to go down with her.
It is what it is, Pimpin'.
So they're never. Yeah, they're too committed into the situation right now.
Listen, listen, I'm 3 times. I need help. That's why I'm being helicopter over this baby. I don't know what other signs I need to tell you that I need help without looking suspicious. There's that.
I feel like she was taking care of the baby. Part of me feels like Gypsy's got a little bit of a whoop on her too, though. You know what I mean? It's almost like, listen, I don't know. I don't know if it's a lack of trust from Christy or both.
No, she doesn't trust her. I mean, you can't expect her to trust her.
Well, obviously,
right? Like, no, you can't. I think it would be unrealistic to say that she would trust her. Like, I don't see. I personally don't see how that.
Either way, I feel like, they're too committed in this line now, whether or not they knew before, which I agree, they may not have known. But they're too committed in this line now they can't even get themselves out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to, you know what I'm saying? Call me Rose. I'm going to have to go down with the shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that's where they at. They like, well, then we're going to just have to ride this out.
Yeah.
Someone said, imagine what he says behind her back. Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
probably, that could also be why she wanted to go back to prison. It's kind of a win-win for Christy and Rod.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I feel like her going back to prison would be a win-win for them. They can,
Yeah, because that means they wouldn't have to deal with the situation.
yep,
Like, 'cause think about it, they actually have to deal with this. They have to deal with her
yeah.
and everything that she comes with.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's a lot to deal with.
Mhm.
I personally wouldn't want to deal with her. Like
I agree.
that's really a lot to have to deal with because you don't trust her, right? Like there's how could you trust her?
Yeah.
Like let's
I
be real,
completely.
you can't trust her.
Mm-mm. Nope. But on that note, it's midnight. So I gotta end here because my little ones
Yes,
have got school in the
and I have to
morning.
get my kids to school on time.
Yes.
So we will see you guys.
Tomorrow I'll be back with all of those FOIA papers, and then I'll make sure that we get
Man,
the one with.
that we do need to go into. We didn't want to go
Yeah.
into that today because it's a lot to go into, especially after the show. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, Nicole.
You don't want to rush
It's a
stuff.
lot to go into, especially after the show. 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on here. And if anyone's on here, we have the body language expert on. We're live on Saturday on YT. You can check that out. She went through the Gypsy's interrogation and she read her body language. It was actually pretty awesome. Her name is Indigo. You can check her out on YT as well. She will be going over Nicholas GODEJOHN'S interrogation either Friday or Saturday. On YT as well. I will confirm with you guys. But yeah, y'all need to check that out.
Yeah, she's great,
But we will
guys.
see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye for
Yes,
now.
tomorrow, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, guys. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you guys
Thank you
for
for the
like
gifts.
live. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.